All right, good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice today. Class this morning will be a 60-minute Vinyasa class. We'll have a nice flow, and the focus will be on some twisting postures, both standing and sitting, but our peak pose will involve a nice, challenging standing twisting posture. Twisting postures can have a lot of benefits. They really help to strengthen and at the same time release the abdominal organs and the muscles around that area. It can really help alleviate low and middle back issues. It just give us an opportunity to be more mindful about our movements in our torso. So I'll have a lot of fun with that. Today is also an all levels class. So whether you're a yogi of a beginner or more advanced level, you'll be able to find a path that works for you. I already see a couple people checked in. Ellen and Nikki, thank you so much for joining me. Great to have you today. I think we're all set to get started, so hopefully you can hear me. Everything looks good. We're in a little bit new location here, but Oliver and Coney, I'm sure will find themselves around the mat today as well. Before we get started, just have a block. It will come in handy later in class. If you don't have a block, you can always just use a water bottle or just a heavy book that can stand on its side. It'll help to help us later in practice. That should be all we really need today. So let's take a moment. I think we're ready to get started. So we'll begin on our backs today. So meet me on your backs with your legs extended out long, arms down to the side. And now we'll begin in Supta Baddha Konasana, so that's reclined bound angle. So with your legs extended, bend your knees and bring the bottoms of your feet to touch, and then let your knees fall out to the sides. So we're in this kind of butterfly pose, but on our backs. If this is just too much for your hips right now, you can go back to just re-extending your legs nice and long. Otherwise, we'll begin class here. Options for your arms, either way, they can be down by your sides with the palms facing up. Or if you'd like, place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. That will allow you to physically feel your torso as we move through some breaths to begin practice. So allow yourself to settle in here as we transition into our class. Maybe your eyes start to settle or your gaze closes completely. Hi, Coney. Just take a moment to find yourself grounded on your mat here today. Allow yourself to focus on your breathing. You can do that by, again, if your eyes are closed, maybe the gaze more easily turns internal. And you can begin to notice your breaths. Start by observing the length of your inhales compared to the length of your exhales. No judgment or control, just allowing yourself to breathe naturally here. And while you're making that observation, perhaps you also notice how the air flows in. Is it through your nose or through your mouth? Maybe it's through both and it's different on the inhale and the exhale. Again, just noticing. And now see either you can feel your spine on the mat or maybe feel your hands on your belly and your chest, but tap into that sensation of physically feeling maybe your body parts on the mat or one thing touching another. Certain places may be more static than others, while your belly and chest rises in a slow dynamic movement here. Just take 3 more breaths on your own. One more breath. All right, if your eyes are closed, you can gently start to blink your eyes open. Release your arms down by your sides, palms underneath your thighs, and gently and slowly lift your knees back up to center. Keeping your knees bent, then hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. Give a gentle squeeze here. And then start to gently rock from side to side, giving your low back a massage here. Try to keep your knees and your feet together as you move from side to side. Also keep the back of your head and the shoulders on the mat. Okay, so now the next time you roll to your right side, stay and fall onto your right side body. So we're turning onto our right side, keeping our knees bent, come into like a fetal position. Your knees will stay up at hip height, and make sure your knees and your feet are both stacked. And then as far as your arms, place your right hand under your right side head just to give a little bit of a cushion, and make sure your left arm is free. So extend your left arm straight out, palm down to the mat. We'll add some just gentle twists here. So you're on your side body in your fetal position. This is the closed position. On your inhale, let's bring the left arm up and over, opening the chest, maybe the arm side. And then exhale, close that back up. Let's do that 3 more times. So we'll inhale as we open, and exhale, close. 2 more times. So inhale, open up that arm. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Okay, let's come back through center, hugging the knees into the chest, and then roll over onto your left side. We'll do the same thing. So start in the fetal position, knees up at hip height, left arm underneath the left side head, right arm is free. And on your inhale, open up the chest, send the right arm out to the other side of the mat. And exhale, close it up. 3 more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open up. Just adding gentle twists here. Exhale, close. 1 more time. Inhale, open up the chest, right arm out long. And exhale, close. All right, coming back onto your back, hugging the knees back into your chest. Gentle squeeze. Keep your left knee hugged in. Let's extend and straighten the right leg straight out. Ekapada Apanasana. Releasing the right heel down to the mat, flexing both toes so they come back toward your face. Keep your hands wrapped around that left shin and draw the left knee in a little closer to the chest as you extend out through that right heel. Try to spin the inner right thigh in and down to keep the knee and the toes facing up towards the sky. Hold here for 1 more breath. And exhale, let's switch. So draw the right knee in, extend the left leg straight out, left heel comes down to the mat. Flex both feet so the toes come back toward your face. Drawing that right knee in as you extend out through that left heel. Try to spin this inner left thigh in and down, keeping the knee and the toes facing up towards the sky. Back of the head and shoulders stay on the mat for 1 more breath. And then exhale, draw both knees into your chest. Gentle squeeze. Hands wrapped behind the thighs this time. Let's cross one ankle on top of the other. We'll move up through tabletop. So you have the option, if you'd like to roll up and down your spine, you extend your legs up, slightly tuck your chin, and then you use your legs and your momentum to gently rock on your low back. Keep that chin tucked to avoid hitting the back of your head. Once you roll a couple times, come up through a seat and then come through to tabletop. You can get here whatever way works for you. We'll all meet in tabletop. We have our wrists below our shoulders, knees below our hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Really spread those fingers wide, pressing down to the base of each finger and each palm. Gentle press of the tops of the feet into the mat, just to engage the legs here. Firm those triceps in so the elbow creases start to face forward, and draw the navel slightly in and up to engage those abdominal muscles. lengthening the tailbone away from the back of the head to create a nice long spine. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Moving through some cow-cat. So on your inhale, drop the navel, send the heart forward, look up, cow pose. Exhale, reverse, round the back, shoulder separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. Speaking of cats, hi Coney. Inhale, reverse that through your cow pose. Send the heart forward, tailbone lifts. Exhale, round the back, shoulder. Two more times. Nice, slow and controlled on your breath. Hi Coney. Exhaling through your cat. One more time each way, inhaling through your cow, nice and slow. Exhaling through your cat. All right, come back through center in tabletop once you finish your last cat pose, and let's do some side cats and cows. What that looks like is we'll just articulate the spine in the other dimension. So the right side hip. So now's the time to be more liberal with it. Maybe you go up, around, and through, mixing in your traditional cat cows with your side cat cows. Just bring some movement into the spine. Whatever calls out to you for two more breaths here. Make sure to get your head and neck involved. One more breath. And then let's meet back in tabletop. All right, extending the right leg straight back, curl the toes under. Extend the left arm, so opposite arm forward. Option one is to stay here with the toes down and the fingers down. Otherwise, lift your right leg up to hip height, flexing the back foot. The left arm lifts up to shoulder height, palm faces in either way. So thumb up, pinky down. Keep drawing the navel in and up. It's easy to let the belly sink here. Really firm the triceps in. Press down to the base of each finger. On that right arm, hold for one more breath. Exhale, gently release through tabletop. We'll switch to the other side. Curl the left toes under, extend and straighten that left leg straight back. Right arm forward. So option one, keep the fingertips and the toes down. Otherwise, option two, lift the left leg up to hip height. Right arm extends forward. Palm faces in. Keep flexing that back left foot. And even here, we'll spin the inner left thigh in and up towards the sky, keeping the knee and the toe facing down. Holding here for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back through your tabletop. Knees and tops of the feet to the mat. And let's send our hips back to our heels. Come into our first child's pose. So with your hips on your heels, releasing your forehead down to the mat or maybe to a block if it doesn't quite reach. Arms extend straight out, nice and long. Allow yourself to take a couple deep breaths here in your child's pose. If you're one that likes to set an intention in your practice, now's a great time. Tune in to maybe what brought you here on your mat today. And maybe if an intention doesn't call out to you now, you let yourself be open throughout practice for something to find yourself along the way. Two more breaths here in your child's pose, knowing that practice can get tough. We'll be moving a lot, and child's pose is always an option you can come back to reground or regroup yourself. One more breath here. All right, keep your hips on your heels. Lift your chest up, walking your hands back. Come into our Virasana pose. So sitting our hips on our heels. If this is too uncomfortable for you, you can place blocks in between your feet just to give yourself a little more elevation. If neither of those options work, just come into a cross-legged seat. Working a little bit on the wrists. So find your comfortable seat, bring the backs of your wrists to touch, and then start making circles, trying to keep the bottoms of the wrist touching as you move through your circles here. So starting in just one direction. And then let's slow it down, move in the opposite direction. Try not to hit yourself in the face along the way. That's always what I'm trying to look out for. And now, since this is our first down dog, let's take our dog for a walk. So maybe you lift one heel, lift the other. So taking our dog for a walk, find whatever movement works for you. Maybe you lift one leg up, lift the other. And even if down dog is too much for you now, you can release back down to your knees and pedal out your legs here as well. Take 2 more breaths in your down dog, nice, slow, and controlled. And then let's all meet back in stillness in our down dog. Inhale as we gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, gently and slowly walk towards the top of your mat. Stay low in your forward fold, feet hips width distance at the top of your mat. Let your arms hang heavy and grab opposite elbows. Come into ragdoll pose. Let the crown of your head draw down towards the mat. Knees could be slightly bent to alleviate a little low back or hamstring pain. Just try to keep your biceps next to your ears. If you're one that likes to sway side to side, you can add some movement here in your ragdoll pose, or you can stay right in center in stillness. All right, now switch the clasp of your elbows, whichever forearm is on top, switch it up. And keep swaying from side to side or stay right in stillness. We have 2 more breaths here. And then coming back to stillness, release the clasp of your elbows. Let your arms hang down heavy. We'll come up to standing, but nice and slow. So press down through your feet, spin the inner thighs in and back, and start to roll up your spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow and controlled. No rush here. And once you've stood all the way up, let's inhale, lift those arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Well done. Okay. Let's bring the big toes to touch, heels slightly separated at the top of your mat, arms down to the sides. Adding a little side lean. So press down through your feet. Let's inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Now here, lift the kneecaps up to start engaging the muscles in the legs and draw the tailbone down towards the backs of the heels. Try to lift these frontal hip points up, but soften the front bottom ribs as well. Even with the arms overhead, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, now release your right fingertips down. Keep the left arm up. So on your inhale, send those left fingertips to the sky, nice long spine. And exhale, side bend to the right side. Let the right fingertips fall down. Keep the bicep next to the ear. Adding a nice deep stretch here. So we're definitely stretching that left side body. But Oliver here is reminding us that we still want space in this right side. So we're trying to equally stretch both sides of the body without crunching, but also without twisting. So keep your shoulders and your pelvis still facing forward for 1 more breath. Press down through your feet and use your abdominal muscles to lift yourself back up on your inhale, both arms up overhead. Keep the right fingertips up, release the left fingertips down. Inhale, send those right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, side bend left side this time. So left fingertips start to crawl down the left side. Keep still pressing into your feet and even spinning the inner thighs in and back here. Tailbone still draws down, bicep stays next to the ear. Again, lengthen that right side, but also try to create space in between each left side rib here. Holding for 1 more breath. Press down through your feet. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Well done. Take 2 deep breaths here. One more breath. All right, arms down to the side. Feet are nice and hips width distance. Tadasana pose here. Palms gently facing forward to start externally rotating the arms, shoulders. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, starting to add some movement. So on your next inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. On your inhale, lift halfway, hands to the shins, nice flat back, parallel to the mat. And exhale, release back down into your forward fold. Back up to standing, press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take 2 deep inhales here. Ellen, thank you for letting me know. Yeah, it looks like the stream had some issues in the beginning, but I think it's steadied out now. So we'll cross our fingers that we're good to go for the rest of practice. Thank you for letting me know. All right, back at the top of the mat, feet hips width distance. Let's add on. So press down through your feet. Inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Let's plant our palms, keep the left foot forward, step the right leg back. We're in our low lunge here. Now, drop the right heel down. We're setting up for warrior two. So with the right heel down, the right toes face the long edge side of the mat, left toes still face forward. Bring the left arm to the inside edge of that left thigh, right arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet, lift up into your warrior two. Let's check in with our foundation. Make sure, again, the right toes face the long edge side, left toes face forward, and try to have heel to arch alignment. So if you were to draw a line from your front heel down the mat, it intersects with the arch of the back foot. You might need to heel toe that left foot over a little more towards the center to make that happen. And then square your shoulders to the long edge side of the mat, extending the arms out nice and long into a T, palms face down. And then turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Warrior two here, adding some movement. On your inhale, straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Twice more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Settle into your warrior two here for 2 breaths. Keep pressing down, drawing the left knee out towards the pinky side edge of that left foot. Pressing back to the outer edge of that right foot. Reversing our warrior, drop the right arm down, the left arm up to the sky, just like in our side lean. Keep the bicep next to the ear. Maybe the gaze looks up towards those fingertips. Front knee stays bent for 1 more breath. And then inhale, lift yourself up, spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that left foot. Lift up the back right heel. Send the left foot to meet the right foot into your plank pose. Hold your plank pose for 3 breaths, setting up for our first Vinyasa movement. Option to follow along with me in the Vinyasas this class, or if you know any other variation, feel free to take that. We'll be advancing as we go, holding for 1 more breath here. All right, now everyone drop down to your knees, shifting forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Press the feet down, press the hips down. On your inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra, keeping the low rib tips on the mat. On your exhale, release, keep the knees down, curl the toes, press yourself up through knees down plank pose, and then lift the hips up and back all the way to downward facing dog. On your inhale, let's gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and to the sides. We'll move to the other side. So on your inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. This time, keep your right foot forward, step your left foot back. Staying in your low lunge for just a breath here. And then we'll drop the left heel down, setting up for a warrior two. So left toes face out, right toes face forward. Right arm comes to the inside edge of that right thigh, left arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet, lift up, warrior two. Check with our foundation. Make sure you have heel to arch alignment. Ideally, you might need to move that right foot in a little closer to center to have that line draw down from the heel to your back arch. Square the shoulders with the long edge side of the mat. Extend the arms out to a T, palm faces down. And then turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Let's add our movement. So inhale, straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. 3 more times, just like that, on your breath. Remember, as you bend that front knee, try to have it track towards the pinky side edge. So avoid it caving in here. One more movement here. And then settle into your warrior two. Try to firm this front thigh in and under. Press back to the outer edge of that left foot. Shoulders soften away from the ears. Hold for one more breath. Okay, reversing our warrior. Drop the left arm down, right arm up to the sky. Maybe palm faces back, but keep the bicep next to the ear. Front knee stays bent. It always wants to straighten, so try and keep it nice and bent, holding for one more breath here. All right, inhale as you lift yourself back up. Spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that front foot. Lift the left heel up. Send the right foot to meet the left foot. We'll vinyasa through again. So knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows back. Lower all the way to the mat. Tops of the feet to the mat. Press your feet down, hips down. Inhale as you lift your head up, chest up. Maybe you lift all the way up into full cobra, straightening your arms. Shoulders over wrists, tailbone draws towards the heels. Exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down. Curl the toes under. Press yourself up through knees down plank pose. Lifting the hips all the way up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the side. Take 2 breaths here before we continue. I think the stream is steadied out, so appreciate everyone's patience. All right. Top of the mat, feet hips width distance, arms down to the sides. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Keep the left foot forward. Step the right leg back. Just like before, drop the right heel down into our warrior two. Left arm to the inside. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift up into your warrior two. Now settle in. Make sure you have your foundation. You might need to move this left foot over to have your heel to arch. Shoulders square. The long edge side, and then turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Setting up for Trikonasana pose. So straighten the front leg and try to lift your torso up out of your hips to create a nice long spine. This is where if you have your block ready. If you have your block or your water bottle, place it to the inside or outside edge of that front shin, maybe right behind your heel. Okay, coming back, setting up for Trikonasana. So it's basically a warrior two with that front leg straight. Pressing down through that front big toe and try to draw the quadricep up towards the hip, really engaging the muscles in that front leg. Now, shift the hips back as the left arm sends forward. When you can't go any further forward, that's when you drop your left arm down either to your block, to your shin, or maybe to the mat. Right arm comes up to the sky. Try to rotate the right palm to face forward. Really press the thoracic spine, the middle of the back, into your back as you broaden through the collarbones. Holding here for one more breath. Keep pressing down through that front big toe. And now slight bend in the front knee as you lift yourself back up. Bending the front knee, let's reverse our warrior. Right arm down, the left arm up to the sky. Hold here just for a breath. And then spiral both arms forward and down. Either side of that left foot, come up on the back right heel. Move your prop off to the side. Let's send the left foot to meet the right foot. Vinyasa through your way again. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Tops of the feet down, press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift up into your back bend, maybe baby cobra or full cobra, straightening the arms. Exhale, gently release. Knees down, curl the toes under. Press yourself up all the way through to down dog. Holding down dog for 2 breaths. Know that you can always skip your vinyasa. Come right to down dog. You can wait in tabletop or take a break in child's pose. All right, let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Other side. So press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward. Forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Right foot forward. Left foot steps back. Drop the left heel down. Right arm to the inside edge, left arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet, lift up into warrior two. Nice strong foundation here. So heel to arch alignment, shoulder square to the long edge side. Turning your neck to look over those right fingertips. Now, this is where we'll straighten that front leg again. Try to lift your torso up out of your hips, create length there. Send your hips back as your right arm and torso comes forward. I should have mentioned the block, so have your block ready on either side of your shin if you're using that. Then as you shift forward, you lower your right fingertips to the mat or to your block, left arm up to the sky. Try to turn the left palm forward. And you're trying to become as skinny as you can, as if 2 walls were on either side of you and you're slipping in between both of them. So really try to press the center of your back in, broaden through the collarbones. Keep drawing the tailbone away from the back of the head to keep that nice long spine. Pressing down through the front big toe as you draw the quadricep up into the hip socket. One more breath here. Slight bend in that front knee, lifting yourself back up. Full bend into your warrior two. Reverse your warrior, drop your left arm down, right arm up to the sky. And then spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that right foot. Lift up on the back left heel, send the right foot to meet the left foot, vinyasa or skip it. Knees down or up, shift forward as you lower all the way or maybe halfway. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale up into your back bend, maybe come into upward facing dog with your knees off the mat. Exhale as you curl the toes under, lower and then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Hold your down dog for 3 breaths here. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs, spinning the inner thighs in and back, pressing down through all 4 corners of each hand, palms and base of the fingers pressed down. One more breath here. All right, we'll stay low, so shift forward, lower your knees to the mat, bring the tops of your feet to the mat, send your hips back to your heels, back into your Virasana pose. All right, so adding a little twist here. So first option is to stay in our Virasana pose. If this is uncomfortable for you with your hips on your heels, come into a cross-legged seat and we'll do a seated twist there. Otherwise, you can stay in your Virasana pose, or for the full variation of this next twist pose, what you'll do is send your ankles off to the left so that your hips fall down and that your sitting bones come to the mat. Now, both sit bones may not fully reach, so you can always place a block underneath maybe your left side sit bone, just to give you more groundedness here. Now, it is tough to hold yourself up, so again, if this is too much for you, come back to just your hips under your heels, Virasana, or you can come to a cross-legged seat. All right, so now what we have is, we want a nice long spine here. Take your left arm and place it to the outside of your right thigh and hook the top of the palm underneath the right shin so that the palm comes onto the mat. Now right arm comes up to the sky. Now keep your gaze forward, but right arm comes behind you to your back, stays on your low back here, or maybe you can grab your left bicep. Maybe you can tuck it in between that left bicep and left rib. But the gaze stays forward, so it's a slight twist here, but your pelvis and your shoulders still stay forward here. Again, we'll be here for a couple moments, so if that doesn't quite feel right for you here, come back to your Virasana pose and you can emulate it here. Taking your left arm, placing it in between and underneath that right thigh. Right arm comes behind, either to the low back or wraps around. And then same thing, if your legs are crossed, you'll stay here. Left arm wraps under, right arm behind. So just hold here for a couple breaths, just allowing yourself to settle into this pose. What's up, Coney? Holding here for one more breath. All right, so gently release your arms. Come back through center in your Virasana, and we'll switch to the other side. So you probably know which option you're taking. If you're sitting cross-legged, switch whichever shin is on top. If you're staying in Virasana, you can repeat that. And if you're sitting off to the side, then let your ankles come off to the other side this time. Use your block if you need to, maybe underneath one of your sitting bones or both, and make sure you're nice and comfortable. So whatever option you choose, this time you'll send the right arm across your body and then place the palm down, the back of the hand underneath that right thigh. I'm sorry, left thigh. And then the left arm spirals behind, back of the hand comes to the low back, or maybe it comes all the way across, trying to keep your shoulders and your pelvis still facing forward. So we have it here in Virasana. We want to send our legs off to the side. Or you can stay in your cross-legged seat as well. So it's a little challenging, but we still want to root down through our sit bones, rise up through the crown of the head, keep a nice long spine. And again, try to keep your shoulders squared forward here. Just hold here for one more breath. And then exhale as you gently release. Come out of that and we'll come back through tabletop. If you're using a prop, just place it off to the side. And from your tabletop, let's send the left leg back, send the right leg back into plank pose. Lift your hips up and back in a downward facing dog. And then inhale as you gaze forward, bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and now to the sides. All right, setting up for our second sequence. Make sure you're still at the top of your mat. Feet are hips width distance, arms down to the side. Chair pose. So hips back, arms forward, palms face each other. Make sure your ankles, knees, and hips are all in one line. And if you gaze down, you should be able to see your toes. If not, try to send your hips back. And now bring your hands to the center of your chest. We'll add a twist. So on your inhale, try to lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist to your right. Now, a couple options here. Option one is to stay here. Option two, you can split your arms, palms face away from your body. Option three, keeping your hands to the center of your chest, lower the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. So choose what option works for you. Either way, try to draw the left hip back. That keeps the pelvis squared forward. And maybe you start to turn your neck to look up towards the ceiling, whatever variation you have, or if you're more upright, you turn your neck to look over your right shoulder. Keep holding for one more breath. Now exhale back through center chair pose, hands to the center of your chest. Let's reset here. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, twist to the left this time. So same options as before. Staying up here, you can extend your arms out nice and long, palms face away, or keeping your hands to the center of your chest. You lower your right elbow to the outside of that left knee. Keep drawing that right hip back. Weight should be more into the heels, but keep your toes on the mat. Maybe you turn your neck to look over the left shoulder, holding for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in our nice deep twist here. And then exhale as you release it all into your forward fold. Stay for 2 breaths in your forward fold. Allow yourself to release here. All right, we're moving on. So inhale, lift halfway, bring your hands to the shins, nice flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, rebend, forward fold. Plant your palms. Let's step both feet back, lift our hips up and back, downward facing dog. From our down dog, lift the left leg up and back to hip height. Bend the left knee into your chest and step the left foot forward to the top of the mat. Take a couple steps if you need to. The right toes should face forward. Left toes should face forward. Press down through your feet. And inhale, lift your arms up, lift your torso up into your high lunge here. Now bring your hands down to the center of your chest. And then release your hands to your hips. So in our high lunge, we want to draw the left hip back, right hip forward to keep the pelvis and the shoulders squared forward. Keep drawing the tailbone down and lift these frontal hip points up. Back leg, spin the inner thigh in and back, and keep pressing the heel back and down, maybe straighten the leg a little more. Keeping the front knee bent, holding for 1 more breath. Now bring your hands to the center of your chest, shift forward 45 degrees, take a nice deep inhale to prepare, and then shift forward, lifting the right knee up into your chest, 45-degree angle. 90-degree angle. So with the right knee up, about hip height, here are different options for our twist here. First option, left arm to the left knee, right arm comes behind, add your twist that way, right palm faces out. If you want to challenge your balance a little more, you can straighten this front right leg, grab the outside of that right ankle, right arm out to the side. So either way, choose what works for you. We're just adding a twist here. So we want to keep the pelvis still facing forward, but allow your shoulders to open. So even here, we're pressing the shoulder blades into the back, allowing the collarbones to broaden, and then maybe turning your neck to look back over the right fingertips. 1 more breath here. And then let's come back to center, hand to the center of your chest. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. And exhale back to where we started, high lunge. Set that right leg back, lift your torso up, bring both arms up overhead, and then spiral both arms forward and down. Send the left foot to meet the right foot. We'll lift right up and back to downward facing dog. Setting up for the other side, lift the lift the right leg up and back to hip height. Bend the right knee into your chest, shift forward, step the right foot up to the top of the mat. Really press down through your feet, make sure both toes face forward, and inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Arms drop down through center and down to your hips. Again, draw this right hip back, left hip draws forward, keep the pelvis facing forward, nice and neutral. And then bring your hands to the center of your chest. Keep drawing the tailbone down, lifting those frontal hip points up. And then shift forward 45 degrees. You know where we're going. So take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, shift forward, lift the left knee up into your chest. 90-degree angle here. So options for your twist. If you'd like, keep that front knee bent, right arm to the outside of that left knee, left arm behind, opening up the chest, palm faces away with the thumb up and pinky down. A little more of a challenge. You can straighten that front leg, right arm grounds the outside of that left foot, and then open up, adding a little balance into your twist here. Both options are challenging. Keep firming that front thigh in, but try to keep the pelvis facing towards the top of the mat. Opening the chest, maybe the gaze comes over those left fingertips. 1 more breath. And now exhale, release the knee. Bring the hands to the center. Take an inhale to prepare. And exhale, send that left leg back into your high lunge. Bring both arms out and up overhead. Exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Send the right foot to meet the left foot. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take an inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet, chair pose, hips back, arms forward. And then straighten the legs, release the hands down through center, arms down to the sides. All right. Last sequence here, this one will be fun, setting up for a reverse Trikonasana. If you have your block or your water bottle or prop, just make sure it's up at the top of the mat ready for you. All right, back into our chair pose. Knees bend, hips back, arms forward. No twist here, we're just holding for a half breath. So on your exhale, release down into your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold, plant your palms. Left foot forward, step your right leg back. So you're in your low lunge, press your feet down, and on your inhale, lift up, high lunge. So torso up, arms up overhead. Release your hands down through center and hands down to your hips. Now we're setting up for warrior one here. Dropping the right heel down, but notice as you drop the right heel down, we're not opening up into warrior two. We still want our pelvis to face forward. So that back ankle is at a 45-degree angle. Trying to keep the pelvis as much as we can to face forward. It will open up some, but try to keep it to face forward. So keep drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward, even with that back heel down. Notice that we have a little bit wider than heel to arch, so we want heel to heel alignment, or possibly wider if your hips are a little tighter. And once you have that, we'll straighten the front leg. So both legs are straightened here. Grab your prop, place it towards the inside or the outside edge of that front shin, just like in our Trikonasana. This time we're adding a revolved Trikonasana. So to do that, we'll extend the right arm forward, keep the left hand at the left hip. Now send your chest forward, right arm forward, and then release your right hand down to either your block or your shin, and then revolve, open the chest up. Try to let the right shoulder drop down, left shoulder draws up, and then if you'd like, lift the left arm up to the sky. Keep pressing down through that front big toe. Try to draw the quadricep in and up, and press back to the outer edge of that right foot. Pressing the center of the chest into the mat as you broaden through the collarbones. It's not easy. Just try and stay and hold for one more breath. Remember to breathe. And then slight bend in that front knee. Let's lift back up into our high lunge. Fully bend that front knee. Lift that back heel up. Send both arms to either side of that left foot. Send the left foot to meet the right foot. Let's lift the hips up and back in a downward facing dog. All right, moving right to the other side. Let's lift the right leg up and back to hip height. Bend the right knee into your chest. Send the right foot up to the top of the mat. So we're in our low lunge. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift up into your high lunge. And then exhale, release your hands down to your hips. Again, setting up first by dropping that left heel down. So we want a 45-degree angle, but our hips are still trying to square forward. Now have your block ready. As you straighten that front leg, place your block to the inside or outside edge of that front shin, just so it's ready if you're using that. And now here we go. Extend the left arm forward. Shift forward and lower the left arm to the blocks. Remember, we're revolving our Trikonasana pose, a little more challenging here. And then let the left shoulder drop down, right shoulder draws up. Maybe you lift the right arm up to the sky. Really press your hand into the block or your shin or the mat, wherever it falls. Front right big toe presses down as you lift and draw the quadricep in and up. Press back to the outer edge of that left heel. Keep trying to open and broaden through the chest, lengthening through the spine so tailbone draws away from the back of the head. Hold for one more breath. Slight bend in that front knee. Lift yourself up into your high lunge. Full bend. Lift the back heel up. Spiral both arms forward and down. Send the front foot to meet the back foot. Last vinyasa if you'd like. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Lower all the way or halfway down. Tops of the feet down. Inhale through your back bend. And exhale, gently release. Knees down. Curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. All right, let's shift forward, lower to our knees. Tops of the feet to the mat. Send your hips back to your heels. Lower into your child's pose. Forehead down to the mat. You can keep your arms extended out nice and long, or if you'd like, you can release your wrists next to your ankles, palms faced up. Find 3 or 4 slow, deep breaths here. One more breath here. All right, let's re-extend those arms straight out in front of you if they're not already. Lifting your torso up, walking your hands back, send your legs off to the side, and then straighten your legs out in front of you, come to a seat. So we're back in a seat with your legs extended out. Oh, thank you, Ellen. Just reading your note. Glad the string, I think it went well for the rest of class, so we'll cross our fingers for the last couple minutes here. All right, so we're in our seat with our legs extended out. Flex both feet so they draw back towards your face. Have them hips width distance apart. Adding our forward fold. If you're one that typically likes to use a strap, you can wrap it around your feet. Otherwise, we'll inhale as we bring the arms up overhead. Keep the nice long spine. And on your exhale, forward fold. Send your heart towards your toes. Avoid rounding your backs here. So keep that nice long spine. You can release your arms down to the mat. But keep drawing your heart towards your toes here. Flexing the feet so the legs stay engaged. Even the kneecaps and quadriceps still draw in and back towards the hip sockets. Slight tuck of the chin, keeping the spine nice and long here. Hold for 3 slow, deep breaths in our seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. One more breath. All right, let's gently start to walk our hands back, lift our hips up, and then bend your knees. Let your knees fall out to the side, bottoms of the feet touch into our bound angle pose here. Now here in our bound angle, it's our butterfly pose. Let's let our knees flap up and down. Just bringing a little bit of movement into the hips there, just to let things loosen up. Okay, you can slow that down. Bring your hands underneath your thighs, lift your knees up. Send your legs up towards the top, hands next to your hips. Send your hips up to your heels. We'll lower onto our backs, nice and gentle, holding onto your shins or your thighs as you gently lower onto your back. Keeping the knees bent, bring the feet underneath. The ankles are underneath the knees. Arms down to the side. We'll set up for 2 bridge poses here. So with the arms down to the side, press your feet into the mat. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up into bridge pose. So the triceps press down, all 4 corners of the feet press down evenly. Spin the inner thighs in and down to keep the knees tracking over the ankles. They always want to open up, but try to keep them tracking over the ankles. And then draw your tailbone towards the backs of the knees to keep the spine nice and long. Hold here for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently release from the top of your spine, middle of the back, low back, last to arrive. Let the knees fall into touch, separate the feet out to the width of the mat. Hold here for a couple breaths. Option 2, repeat that. Or if you'd like to advance, you can interlace your fingers underneath your back once we lift up into our bridge pose again. If you're done with your bridge pose, you can lift up and place a block underneath your tailbone as well for a more restorative version. So here we go. Last time here. Knees and feet back to hips width distance. So ankles underneath the knees, arms down to the side. Press your feet down, press your arms down on your inhale. Take a nice deep prepare on your inhale. And then exhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up, bridge pose. So option to stay here. You can place a block underneath your sacrum if you'd like a more restorative, or roll your triceps under, interlace your fingers together, bring the wrist to touch, try to straighten the arms, and bring the pinkies towards the mat. Maybe roll the triceps under a little more. Either way, wherever you are, press all four corners of the feet down, spin those inner thighs in and down, and tailbone draws towards the backs of the heels, keeping the spine nice and long. One more breath here. And then release the arms out if you have it. Release your prop and gently lower from the top of your spine. Middle of the back, low back last to arrive. Knees fall together, feet out to the width of the mat again. And then let your knees fall from side to side, gently swing. So you keep the feet wide and let the knees fall from side to side. All right, next time the knees are off to the right side, stay there. Extend your arms out to a T or a field goal pose with the palms facing up. And then if you'd like, place the outside of the right ankle on top of the left thigh to deepen into our twist here. Final option, turn your neck to look over the left fingertips. Try to keep your left shoulder rooted on the mat. And hold here in your full spinal twist for 2 deep breaths. All right, gaze comes back up to center. Release the ankle from on top of the knee. Bring the knees back up through center. Recenter your hips here for a moment. Remember, knees together, feet out wide. And then let the knees fall off to the left side. Hi, Coney. And then option to place the outside of that left ankle on top of the right thigh. With your arms still nice and wide, palms facing up, you can turn your neck to look over the right fingertips. 2 slow, deep breaths here. What's up, Coney? All right, gaze comes back up to center. Release the ankle from on top of the knee. Bring your knees back in through center. Hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. Give yourself a nice squeeze. And then lift the back of your head and your shoulders off the mat. Come into an egg shape. Try and squeeze everything together here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for one more breath. And exhale, release. Extend the legs long, arms long overhead. Point the toes away from your body. Extend the fingers nice and long. Full body stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Arms down to the sides. Palms face up. Let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. Settle into our final pose of practice here, Shavasana. If you prefer any other variation, perhaps with your bottoms of your feet together wide, just like how we started, or maybe you have blocks or a blanket that you place underneath your knees to allow more of your spine to rest on the mat. Whatever variation you choose, make sure it allows yourself to find stillness. Maybe you start to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Deepening your breathing here as you settle. If there's any last little bits of tension in your body, you can send your breath there. Try to soften the muscles in your face and around your jaw. And release any control over the breath. Just be here. All right, let's bring some awareness back into the body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. And rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And then come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. And now gently start to bend your knees in towards your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom, top knee rest on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath on your side. And keeping your eyes softened, now you can use your top arm to press yourself up into a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. In your comfortable seat, you can rest your palms on tops of your knees. Palms can face up or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you for joining me for your practice. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me on behalf of myself and Coney and Oliver, who made an appearance today. I hope you enjoyed the sights and the sounds, and thank you for your patience at the beginning. Yeah, it looks like the stream dropped off once or twice. So thank you, Ellen, for keeping me abreast of that situation. But it looks like it was pretty smooth after that, smooth sailing. So that's always good to see. I think it's just living on the island down here in DR. You never know what you're gonna get with the internet, so you just you just work with what you got. So I appreciate you all doing that today. So I hope you feel good. I hope you got some nice twists in. I hope your low back, your abdominal muscles are feeling good. Ellen, thank you. Oh, Coney is very, yes, he is. He is out like a light right now. I hope Josie's doing well, Ellen. But yeah, thank you, Nikki, if you're still watching. Thank you for joining class. Everyone else who's watching either live or recorded, I appreciate you joining me as always. If you ever have any questions, you can leave them in the chat or in the comments. Yes, it was a tough one. Okay, yeah. Sometimes we need those tough ones. Sometimes they can be too much. So I hope you're able to go at a nice pace that worked for you today, Alan. But I appreciate the feedback as always. So yeah, send me any thoughts, send me any comments, any requests for class, either in the description or there's other ways to reach out to me there with email or whatnot. So again, thank you so much. My name is Daniel. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Nikki, thanks for checking in. Hope you enjoyed class. And we'll see you next time in practice. So thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Peace.